Firstly, you have to leave your bedroom. Or do you? INTPs have extroverted feeling as their inferior function. This tends to express itself as an awareness and concern for the way they're affecting and being perceived by other people, but not a strong mastery over it. Morphing and tailoring the delivery of a given message to suit the biases or preferences of a particular audience is the genius of extroverted feeling. Essentially, it's charm. INTPs, on the other hand, value truth and logic. Truth and logic are not always that charming. This means that they have to try quite hard to get their points across to people, especially when they're trying to express something that is complex or nuanced, which is always. If an INTP can position themselves in the role of an advisor, where, simply by virtue of their status, their insights are listened to and taken seriously. Now, INTPs will dislike that idea right off the bat. They don't have respect for supposedly unquestionable authority. So why would they want to be one? It reminds me of a quote that Einstein said, "To punish me for my contempt for authority, fate made me an authority myself." But the reason this role works so brilliantly for INTPs is because, in theory, it can solve both of their main issues. The issues in this sense are being thought of through the lens of their cognitive functions. So, FE inferior. In this role, their reputation and status will do some of the work for them when it comes to convincing people that their advice ought to be listened to. The other is extroverted sensing. INTPs have extroverted sensing as their polar function, so in a sense it's their worst function, or at least the function that they struggle with the most. Having SE polar means that INTPs will struggle to consistently take action. INTPs delight in seeing their ideas come to life, but it can be an unfortunately uncommon thing. So what better way to make their ideas come to life than to let others carry them out and benefit from them? Their thoughts get to become reality, and the world can now benefit from their insights. So who are you going to be an advisor to? You're going to be looking for someone who is energetic, ambitious, and either very logical in their strategic approach to things, or if not logical, then at least rational. A person with those traits will completely lap up the INTP's intelligent observations and insights on what the best and most accurate approach is. The image of INTPs that I'm trying to conjure up here is the man or woman behind the curtain, the true power behind the throne, the king or queen's assistant, who in fact, through their suggestions and ideas, is actually the ruler themselves. So I asked an INTP that we know what she thought about how to win as an INTP. One of the things she mentioned was the importance of long-term and stable relationships, especially your relationships with romantic partners. INTPs do really well with depth in relationships. Their third slot, introverted sensing, plays a huge part in their lives. This means that a sense of familiarity and comfort is extremely valued. To fully appreciate an INTP, there needs to have been that level of trust, but maybe more importantly, level of understanding that's been built up over time. The beauty of having stable relationships in your life is that any inferior FE anxiety you have about whether you're managing social interactions well is kind of taken care of. Of course, you don't want to take your long-term relationships for granted, but part of the point of categorizing someone as long-term in your life means there's an implicit assumption that your default baseline way of existing with them is something that they enjoy. Jobs like teaching and tutoring can actually be really great careers for INTPs. INTPs are figuring out machines, and there are people out there in the world that have fantastic skill sets but really struggle to figure things out on their own. You need to do everything you can to seek out as many people as possible. Yes, that may involve leaving the house, but if you don't want to do that, you'd be very surprised and possibly reassured at how many brilliant collaborative partnerships and friendships you can build simply by reaching out to someone online.